Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out, let people know I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And today was an inside day. I woke up this morning and there was snow on the ground. The craziest thing. I don't remember such a late spring ever since I've lived in Manitoba, and I've lived here since I was 18 years old. I moved here with my family. Wow, it's been a very long time. I'm 65 years old. Well, I'm not 65 yet. Let's not push it. But I'm going to be 65 years old this year. And to imagine that I have been here over 40 years, that is absolutely incredible. Life goes by fast, right? I am so grateful for the adventures and the experiences in my life that I have interesting stories to look back on and to reminisce about. You know, these adventures that are curious and wonderful. For me, they're not everybody's thing. I'm sure not a lot of people would be interested in doing what I do, but it is me, and it isn't just playing out the moment to moment. I can't imagine what these past dozen years would have looked like for me if I had stumbled onto YouTube. And it actually truly was a stumble onto. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Kathy. You get to hang out with me tonight. Our Tammy is actually taking care of a friend's son because they're going to another country for a wedding and a little vacation. Right? It's going to be so wonderful. I can't imagine how hard it is for a mom to have children with serious challenges, right? To be a caregiver for your own children and knowing that, right, that your children are going to outlive you and you have to dedicate. I say you have to dedicate, but I'm sure I don't have children myself. But if I did, I would be dedicating my life to my children if they had challenges, right? And it's so beautiful. Tammy volunteered to take care of their son while they were away. And it's amazing, because I just messaged Tammy and I was telling her, the kindness that is. You might not think it's much in doing something like that, but when a mother spends 24/7, 365 days with a child with serious challenges, can you imagine being able to go away for a week, right? And of course, she's going to miss her child and miss her home. But you know what? We sometimes overextend ourselves, don't we? We overextend ourselves, and that woman probably doesn't have a realization in her about how badly she needs a little vacation, how much she needs some rest and a little bit of time away for herself to recognize that she matters, right? We all need that. We all need to feel like we matter, that we're creating something magnificent for ourselves. It's why I give myself that trip every September. I can't give myself everything. I try to treat myself kindly. I try not to say no to myself when I can extend myself a little bit because I'm worth it, right? And because I've spent my whole life not treating myself well, not feeling like I had much to contribute, that I was a failure, right? That, it's wonderful in the adventures of my life, the experiences in my life, that I have been able to stumble on to something that actually belongs to just me. Well, I share it, but truly, it does belong to me. If I didn't have one person, I'm breaking up. Oh my goodness, I'm not getting any notifications here. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope everything's okay. Maybe Eugene will pop in and he can let us know um whether or not everything is going on well on his end. I don't have any buffering. The sound is good, and I can usually tell if something's going on badly with my life. You make me a little bit nervous there, Kathy. But that's good that you're letting me know so that I can pay attention and keep an eye out to see if anything's going on. Let me know in a couple of minutes if it's still going on, and then maybe I can get into my channel settings slightly. Okay. Well, hopefully is everything is good. Did you see the Kentucky Derby this week? It's been on the news. I caught it. I didn't watch the Kentucky Derby when it was going on, right? It's not really my thing. Horses have only been an slight interest. I'm not big on horseback riding or anything, but I follow a couple of people that are deep into the love for their horses. So it makes sense that the Kentucky Derby programming would have come across my path, because I do, like I said, watch a couple of content creators who are very involved with horses. But oh my goodness, I was just bawling my eyes out when that horse, right, came up from the very back end. He was last in the Kentucky Derby, and he won it from being the very last one. And he was in the derby with his brother, and they're from Puerto Rico, and his brother was in first place, and as he passed him, they high-fived each other. And then the trainer of this horse, uh golden, oh, I forgot the name of the horse already, but I've seen so many videos. I was watching so many videos on this Kentucky Derby because the story is so amazing. But it was a woman who trained this horse, and it's the first woman trainer to ever, in 152 years, to win the Kentucky Derby. And they filmed her during the race, and this woman looked like she was going to pee herself. She was so excited. Nobody else believed. Everybody was just kind of frozen and just kind of watching. But she was jumping in the air. She looked like she was going to faint there for a moment. And it was her dream to show women that they can exceed in platforms and events that were dominated by men. And she was the example for girls and women out there. And so she is so tired. I was watching her. She's been doing interviews ever since, the jockey and her, right? And they're both feel good stories, right? And it was like a 23. Yeah, it's amazing. You're gonna absolutely love it, Kathy. You're absolutely gonna love it, right? And two really good feel good stories. Like, really, he was the horse, three if you count the horse, because the horse was very, very last, and he won the Derby. The jockey was in the Derby with his brother, who was riding on a different horse, and his brother was winning the race. So actually 4 good stories, right? And then the trainer was a female, and she was so excited, but all of them had been doing interviews like nonstop interviews since the Derby. And I think the Derby was now 3 days ago, and it still hasn't stopped. And you could just see in the interviews how exhausted she is, right? How exhausted they all must be in the interviews. But it's a once in a lifetime experience. And both of them said that it was their dream, and they achieved their dreams in their life. And I'm like bawling my eyes out. I've seen like the clips, like, oh, probably I've seen the clips like 20 or 30 times now, right? And every time I'm bawling when I watch them, because it's such a heartwarming, beautiful, right? And like, horse racing has never, I hesitated there because my dad was big on horse races. He always, you guys know, my dad was a compulsive gambler. He'd always take us to the race tracks, and right, and I played a little bit in the horse tracks, like in the derbies and stuff here, because it was kind of a tradition in our family, especially for the derbies that we went. So even when my father passed away, we'd take our mom to the racetracks on Derby Day, and we'd wear the big fancy hats and everything on Derby Day. And of course, being a child when my dad gambled, right? I couldn't gamble. I couldn't go buy tickets for the races or anything. So as an adult, it was something exciting. And of course, I was a gambler, but horse races, even back then, it just wasn't, it was never my thing. I remember when I was a kid, after every single race, my dad would just go, and we just, all us kids would just run, and we would pick up all the tickets that people would throw away, because when the race was over, they go, oh, we lost, and they'd rip their ticket in half and throw it in the air. And my mom always came to the racetracks with scotch tape, and she would tape the tickets back together. And they always won money because there were always disqualifications in the races. And once people threw their tickets away, they never knew where their tickets were. They were on the ground, and the ground was covered with hundreds and hundreds of tickets. And we would just put them in a grocery bag, and then we'd run back to mom, and mom would be checking all the tickets and putting all the winners off to the side. And they made lots of money doing that. I remember that as a kid. Yeah, but Kathy, take a look at that. Take a look at that race. Take a look at the jockey, the two brothers as they high five each other at the end of the race. They'll show that for sure. And her so excited because she's in her box with her family and stuff, right? And the way she was so excited that she got to win. But yeah, they're pretty exhausted now with all the interviews. And the Kentucky Derby is the biggest derby in the entire world. I think there are a few big derbies, but I think the biggest one in the entire world is the Kentucky Derby. And I'm surprised, that I really got into it, because after I watched it the first time, I would go on because I'm busy doing my own thing, right? Like I got stuff to learn and stuff to do. And yet it was being suggested to me, and I had no problem going back in just for the energy, like this serious, amazing energy in those races. Today I stayed in, like I said, I got up this morning, snow on the ground. Kathy, has spring come to the East Coast yet? I'm just flabbergasted that we are still getting snow, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's not supposed to get into the plus numbers. And it was +1 today, and it snowed, guaranteed in the minuses tomorrow. We are going to get snow, and it's supposed to, right, do its thing all day, all day long. So I'm going to assume it's going to snow again. I looked at the weather channel and it doesn't look like it's going to start warming up now. I keep saying that. I've been saying this for like weeks and weeks now. Spring is coming. Spring is here, because we get one nice warm day before it goes cold again. But I'm looking at the weather channel, and next week looks really, really good. So one more week. We can do one. Well, we have to do as many weeks as it takes to get into spring, don't we? We don't have much choice when it comes to Mother Nature. We just have to ride those waves, and it will help it happen. Sure. The buds are on the trees. I'm pretty excited. Yesterday I woke up and I saw the buds. The buds are on the trees. They're ready to bloom. And so once those trees are so full, like there's nothing more beautiful than Winnipeg's street lined boulevards. They are absolutely stunning and very unique to our city. I was doing a little bit of listing just before I did my live, because right, I was kind of feeling guilty because it was a I was going to say a down day, but down day just kind of reflects, because I work in emotions, that it would make me feel like I was down. I wasn't down in any way, but I was not doing too much, and I didn't feel like doing too much. Not that I was feeling unwell or anything. I just felt lazy. I felt like I had great big monster bricks on my feet, and I didn't do much of anything except kind of hang out online and eat and wash dishes, but I didn't do anything else. So I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to feel bad if I, right, don't feel like I've accomplished too much in a day, because it doesn't happen very often. Like, lots of times I'm not out and about and doing things, but I'm always moving forward. I'm always accomplishing in my own household. But today, I really wasn't. I didn't get much of anything done. So out of that little bit of feeling bad for that, I said, okay, well, I've got to relist some jewelry because it's graduation time. If I want to get rid of some of this jewelry, it's old vintage rhinestones, fancy jewelry. And now's the time to do it, because everybody's looking for jewelry for their grad dresses. And of course, the boys, right? They got to wear suits and stuff. And right? They don't even have a set of cufflinks at home. And I thought, oh my goodness, I got most beautiful cufflinks for the guys too. So I better list the cufflinks too. And so I just kind of did a little bit of listing, so I didn't have to feel like I didn't get anything accomplished today. But you can see how I'm smiling about that, because even though I do feel guilty in not being, because right, it's all about that motivation. You guys know I hang out with the entrepreneurs. We're all about motivation, always about moving forward, always about, getting things done. And it's kind of built into me now. And I think it's a good system, right? Because it keeps me motivated. I shouldn't be guilting myself out and stuff to get things done. But it's amazing that I can recognize that, and in my own self parenting to say, okay, Cindy, right? You got to accomplish something before you do your live show, before you call it a night, and then look back on tomorrow, which will be today, and go, you didn't do anything yesterday, Cindy. You did absolutely nothing yesterday. And then have to double down, right? I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. If it's snowing, I'll probably stay in the house, right? Yesterday, I got all my house chores and all the things I needed to accomplish. But maybe I could phone my sisters. Maybe I can bundle up. It's not like it's 30 below zero in the middle of winter, and I take those walks in the middle of winter. So it's nothing for me in a little bit of rain or snow. I'll take my umbrella with me, and I filled up a granny wagon. I don't know if you guys know what a granny is. The thing with the two wheels, and old ladies, they put their groceries in it, and I've been using them for years and years now. I absolutely love them. When I go grocery shopping, I load up all my groceries in it, and I can just wheel my groceries home. And I got that idea because I used to see the university students use the granny wagons for all their books for going to university and stuff. And I said, well, like, I'm a whole lot older than them. I can't be feeling bad because I'm not a senior technically yet. That if the university students can be using the granny wagons, why can't I? And then I started using them, and I just love the granny wagons. Yeah. So I loaded up the granny wagon when I did my spring closet with all kinds of really nice blouses and pants, and I think some skirts and some tights and things that are too small for me, right? But I keep them because they're lovely, right? One day I'll get into them, but I'm happy at the weight that I'm at now. But my sister desperately needs some clothes. She's lost a lot of weight in the past couple of years now, like so much weight, like I'm going to say almost 200 pounds my sister has lost. And yeah, it's looking good for her. She got one of the doctors to sign off on her eyes. She's trying to get her driver's license back because she lost her driver's license because she had fluid behind her eyes and she couldn't see very well. So they took her driver's license away, and she's been kind of trapped in her house. And I thought, well, I can cheer her up by taking her some clothes that at the very least it'll be fun for her to sit there and just kind of pull them out and look at them and see if she likes them. If she doesn't like them, I have another sister who lives in the same building, and she can offer them up to my other sister, whatever she doesn't like, but she can have first dibs on that. But I think probably that's what I'll do is I'll give her a call in the morning and see if she's up for some company. Yeah, she's lost a lot of weight. She's really gone through an experience. Like, she's not given up. Like, nobody in my family ever gives up. None of us, right? That's the way that we were built. And but it's been tough, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't make it hard for her. And especially when I was doing the research on the triple heart bypass, one of the main aftermaths of having that operation is the depression that sets in. It's very, very common after you have an experience like that to go into a depression. I knew she was in it, but she doesn't like to, right? People are so protective of their lives, right? And you play tough and you play like everything is good, right? And she's one of those people for sure. And I'm sure like things aren't as good as she portrays them to be, but I have to read into it because she just doesn't offer up that information because she just keeps it so private. It really irritates me about people like that. They think they're being considerate. They think they're not wanting to unload their problems and their issues and their heartbreaks and griefs on other people, right? And it doesn't help. It makes a bad situation even worse, right? I get it, right? That we don't want to be brought down by other people's issues, but at the same time we want to give back. We want to be that support. And if we don't know that something is wrong, that somebody's not having easy time of things that, we can't offer up that shoulder to cry on or that ear to listen to or those few dollars that might help somebody out, right? But again, I don't know if it's just my family who's like that, but I've had friends like that too. And I know I'm like that. And right, lots of people that hang out with me are like that. Like, oh my goodness, right? Remember with Andrew when he was in the hospital with a staph infection and he almost died from it. And he didn't even miss his lives on Sunday night. Like I just, right? And I was upset by that. Like I'm not saying upset. I'm saying I was upset with that because he never expressed anything. And I would have been adamant that he stayed in bed, that he took it easy, right? But, he didn't say anything for a couple of weeks and we didn't even know anything was going on. And it doesn't mean that he was being sneaky or he was being stubborn or anything like that. It's just that idea of we don't want to unload our problems on other people. And I think we need to do a little bit of course correction in that because how does anybody know that we need help unless we express that? Like if we didn't know about the refugee camps in Syria, like how can there be organizations out there who would want to fly in supplies and feed the people, right? If we didn't know about the issue with AIDS in Africa, we wouldn't know that we need to raise money and donate vaccines that'll help people to live decent lives. Like we have to express and let people know when there are problems, right? Like we have to. And right, but again, it's just this mentality that we don't want to, right, unload our problems on other people, right? And I'm guilty of that too. But my sister, right, I have to read into it. We really, really have to read into each other's issues because we just keep things to ourselves. And that stuff just festers in our system. It really does. And when we talk about, having problems and then getting ourselves in depressive states, once you get into that state, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Like Robin Williams, right? Nobody even knew that he had emotional issues, that there were problems there until it was too late. But if he had expressed it, right, we could have enveloped him. We could have made him better. He could have even made himself better by being one of those people who could express it to the world, right? And we would appreciate him even more for it. But now it's too late. Yeah, yeah. Ah, right after talking about the good feel good story of the Kentucky Derby. Yeah, Kathy, make sure you watch it. It's really pretty. It's really pretty amazing. Yeah, it's kind of a sea biscuit kind of story, right? And actually, this horse is a descendant of Secretariat, which was another uh, amazing one. Well, I think probably the most amazing racehorse in the entire world. Right? There was actually a story on that horse. Okay, you guys, we're going to grab a card. We're going to go into it for a few minutes, however long it takes, but it's usually a few minutes. Sometimes it's relevant to the conversation. Sometimes we go off in a totally different direction. I'm grateful that I can go to bed tonight and feel like I accomplished a little bit because listening is not fun. Taking pictures, and I copied and pasted because these items I had listed already. But once they've been listed for quite a while, they just kind of hang out in my marketplace like it's a store, and it doesn't get promoted anymore. So the idea for me is to relist it so it can go back to the top of the page and be shared amongst the different groups that I belong to, right? So periodically, and I think I'm going to do a few more of those. There are a few things too that I know if I relist them that maybe I'll be able to, right, get a couple of more sales in this week. I haven't been doing a lot of sales on my marketplace, right? It's what keeps the groceries in the cupboard and the bills paid, right? Yeah. Okay, you guys, let's get into a card. I hope everybody is off to an amazing start. We are, is it Tuesday now? Tuesday now. Get my fire alarms checked tomorrow. We have an inspection tomorrow. Okay, we got, oh, I love this. This word is the most amazing word that I can ever possibly think of besides change. But change doesn't happen unless there are choices involved, right? Well, that's not true, right? Because change can happen from a tsunami, couldn't it? Change can happen from a volcano going off. But change without action will not bring about change, right? And it's important for us to make movement. I made that choice tonight, so I wouldn't feel bad about, right, being a lazy bum today, because that's what I really felt like I was doing. I was like a lazy bum, so I wanted to accomplish a little bit above and beyond, not just the basics of cleaning the bathroom and doing the dishes, right? That I needed to go to bed tonight knowing that I accomplished a little bit, and doing those listings was on my list and I was just putting it off. But you know what? I had to be that parent in that. I had to put my foot down, and I had to make that choice, right? Because without making that choice, I wouldn't have put any action into it, right? I like I said, this I knew I had to do this for a couple of days now. It was my intent to get that done. And I when I make that choice and I make that decision, I always take a little action, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm taking the action to get it done, but I have to take an action when I make that choice. Otherwise, it just becomes a wish, a dream, right? It's something that you had a thought, and then the thought disappears and you haven't even written it down. It's not even on a goal list or anything. So when I made that choice that I was going to list this jewelry, my action was I got off the chair immediately. I went to my jewelry box and I grabbed all the jewelry that I wanted to relist and I put it on the table. Then yesterday I thought of it again, but again, I have to have an action when I make that choice. Otherwise, it just doesn't get done. So I brought my rotating table with a light on it. We're going to send some good cheer because the fire truck is about to drive by my building, get to their destination. Everything's good, and they can turn around and go right back to the station. Yeah, so yesterday I said, "Oh, you didn't do anything with that jewelry, right? You got to get that jewelry listed." But I in the moment I didn't want to list the jewelry, right? But I still have to take that action because it's just in the matter of the baby steps, right? So I set the lamp up. I went and got my rotating table that I can display my jewelry on it that has a light on it, and I grab my crystal and I put it on top of the light so it's all there ready for me to take pictures and video. And then today, right, I said, "Oh, Cindy, you're going to go to bed tonight because you're doing your live show in a half an hour and you're not going to get anything done." And in that moment, I had to take my action. And I decided, you know what? At the very least, I can get one listing done. I got two listings done. I did a beautiful, beautiful set. Um, Here, I'm going to grab it and show it to you because it had to be relisted because it's such a beautiful set, and it's perfect for somebody who has, like, look at the colors in that. Oh, you can't really see it, but it's kind of borealis. But that's the necklace. But it also has a bracelet that goes with it. Like, isn't that stunning? Like, it's all pinks and blues and the topaz main stones. And then it had the little earrings too, the matching earrings. And I said, oh my goodness, some girl who's graduating, right, is going to need that to go with her dress. It's going to be the perfect set to go with her dress, and she's going to want it. And I need to sell it, right? I need to sell it. So it was perfect timing for me to finally get it done. And that's $100, and I get 20% of it. So I'll get $20. It was my sister's. She gave me a whole bunch of jewelry to sell, and she gives me a little bit of cut of it, right? And so, yeah, that works. That'll work out good. And no perfect timing. And of course, if it doesn't sell for grad, right? Because I have the keywords for wedding and formal wear, that maybe it'll be picked up by a bride. Like, that would be a beautiful set to go with a wedding dress too, right? But getting back to the word choices, it's one of my favorite words, right? Because I'm all about change. I'm all about moving forward. I'm all about that evolution, that, right? Because that stops us from falling behind. That stops us from the guilt and the shame and the depression for not getting things done. And the idea is, if you're moving forward, there are opportunities in that. And if you're not moving, there are zero opportunities in that, right? You're laying on a couch with a remote control. What kind of opportunities are going to come across your path, right? Nothing. Nothing. It's about getting things done that creates change in our life, right? But you make a choice. Choices without action will not bring about change. And change is so important for every single one of us, right? And you might think that you don't want any change. Everything is down packed, everything is hunky dory. Why mess with something that's not broke? But when you're comfortable, there is no better moment than to expand, right? To bring a little bit of difficulty into your life because you're comfortable, right? You're comfortable. So there's not going to be any change. But change is so important, and it's important to expand and stretch yourselves out. What that's saying, get out of your comfort zone, right? And that means making a choice, but you can't make a choice without having an action, because it's the action that creates the change, isn't it? Right? It is. Okay, you guys, that's going to be it for me tonight, right? I feel good. Well, I don't feel I could have done a whole lot more, but I could have felt a whole lot worse if I didn't make that choice to get things done today, to make a little bit of movement for myself, right? So it was kind of perfect that we got that word change, because it's true, right? Change doesn't happen without taking uh, an action in that, right? You can't just make a choice and go, oh, that would be a good idea. And then it's like a brain fart. You totally forgot about that. Oh, I should do that. Oh, that's a good idea. And it's just a thought. And then it's poof. it's gone. At the very least, if you make a goal list and keep it in top of mind. I'm holding up my research. I work on it every day. I've been watching YouTube videos and writing down my favorite RVs, and there are some really nice RVs out there. And so I've been doing reviews on RVs to see exactly what kind of an RV would I be interested in, right? Because that would be my dream life. And obviously I could say I want to retire and live the RV life because that's just a thought. I've got to put the action into it. And of course, I can't put the money into it, but I can put the research into it. And then, if for whatever reason that opportunity comes across my path, I'm ready to go, right? I'm ready to go because I put that action. It's in the forefront of my mind. And that's the idea that it just doesn't go, I want to do that one day and then poof, it's gone. And I'm not even thinking about my retirement and RVs. All I'm doing is thinking about the things that I'm not getting done in the moment. And then that stalls me out, right? It stalls me out. I'm always moving forward. You guys know that motivation, inspiration, right? But choices require an action because change doesn't happen without that action. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer, and we'll see you tomorrow.